started in Hungary because I'm from Budapest, and I started to make clothes when I was maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 years old, something like that. And I had a beautiful grandma, and she had beautiful shiny things, clothes, because she was traveling around the world and she brought shiny gold, glittering, beautiful dresses. And I was really inspired all the time, when she opened the wardrobe and I asked her to tell the stories of the clothes and everything. And I had the idea that, okay, I want to be an adult who can make clothes because they are so amazing. And she had an old sewing machine. So when I was 10, I started to sew with the sewing machine. And I was very crazy about fabrics and everything. So every time when I get some fabric, I had to do immediately something out of that. And I was very creative as a child because I was alone. I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and I spent all my time alone creating stuff. And that's how I just became, like 20 years old and continuing sewing clothes. And there were some stores who were selling my clothes in Budapest. And then I had my own shop when I was 27, and then I had it for some years. And after I made a concept bar and fashion shop together because I thought that I need an idea, which attracts more people than usually a fashion shop. And that was a very interesting project. And after 5 years, I fed up with Hungary and I moved to Berlin.
Yeah.
And I also made one fashion shop and cafe here in Berlin. And after I decided only to focus on fashion because I realized that if I make other business, other thing, I just don't have enough time for my clothes. And now I am part of this studio, and I'm surrounded by very inspiring, beautiful people who are making also similar things than me, and we help each other, we teach each other, and it's really nice to be here.
So this is where you work?
Yeah, this is where I work. This is my main sewing machine, and this is the sewing machine which makes the edges, and I'm working on, I don't know, project Moroccan things, upcycling Moroccan thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I go crazy, but I love this.
So how many different fabrics is in this piece?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got this vinyl, this glitter thing, and when I saw it first, I thought, oh my god, this is so kitschy that I will never use it, and I use it all the time. I buy the things used or vintage or secondhand,
Okay.
because that's the philosophy behind that. I don't want to produce trash. That's why I use what would be trash normally. So I use it and I make out of the trash. I make some new thing, new design.
What about what you're wearing right now? Is this upcycled
Yeah, this is my
design?
beautiful t-shirt. Yeah, and I love it so much that I don't want to sell it.
Don't. I like it too. What does it say?
Nothing. It doesn't have a meaning. I started to make upcycling clothes when I didn't know that it was upcycling, because I had some friends in Hungary and they worked as a custom designer in the opera house, for example, and they gave me a lot of rest fabrics. And these fabrics were very beautiful and inspiring, and I thought, okay, I don't have money for buying, very expensive fabrics, so I will use them. And I made some patchwork and I put them together somehow. I sewed them together. I bought an embroidery machine and I started to make embroidery. I fixed the rest pieces with embroidery technique, Every piece that I made was one of a kind. So, but I didn't know at the time that it called upcycling. And also, Hungary is full of thrift shops, and Budapest is full of thrift shops, and the culture in Budapest is really like people love to buy secondhand and vintage. And I also collected a lot of clothes because I didn't want to throw it out, and I thought, okay, one day I'm gonna cut it and I will make something out of that. And it is like this since 20 years. So I have a lot of clothes, and also a lot of people who knows me. They just come to me and give me clothes always. I also like the idea to make one-of-a-kind clothes because you just cannot repeat it, and it's very inspiring. So I feel that I couldn't make 20 pieces out of one design, and I also never was that kind of designer who sits and draws, I get inspired of the fabric, of the color, of the, for example, pairing interesting, weird things together. Also, looking in Budapest, there are old people with very, very old school fabrics and old school clothes, and it is also very inspiring to me because they dress up very spontaneously, but they don't know that they look like Jean-Paul Gaultier, model. So they really look like that. So this pairing is really crazy sometimes. Yeah, that's how it started. And after I realized that okay, it comes from really deep inside. So I never thought about it, but I don't want to be part of this fashion industry, because I don't like it. I met a lot of people in Hungary who were working in a textile factory, and they had a very miserable life there. So, and we are not talking about Bangladesh or India, so we are talking about Europe. And I thought that I don't want to do that. I prefer to have a nice relationship with people who worked for me, and pay them well. So that was the reason. We should know about how fashion industry works in reality. So we should just be informed, and the information is everywhere. Because when someone goes to a cheap fashion shop and buys something, for 10 euros or 5 euros, so the consumer doesn't pay a lot, but someone will pay. And who pays is the woman, for example, who makes it. Yeah, she makes it for she gets like 2 euros per day, and she has to feed her family, and she works, every day maybe 12, 14 hours, and we just don't want to support this. So that's why we designers in the studio are committed to sustainable fashion, because we just want to open people's eyes and to show them another opportunity, because when we buy something for 5 or 10 euros, maybe we just throw this out after 2 months because we don't need it anymore, because it was so cheap, or it is very bad quality most of the time. So that's why I think it's and it's also respect for the other people, respect for the environment. For example, they grow plants inside of next to a fashion factory, So I think pollution goes everywhere and comes back to us. So we just don't want to support this. I think it's important to know about all these stuffs, because my responsibility doesn't ends when I go there and I buy something. So it's not about it. So we have to know that we are responsible for anything that we buy. Trash is inspiring.